Hello everyone, my name is Rituro, and this is my life in Silver-ish League. My opponent today, level 105, Silver Leaguer, playing Zerg, named Super 8 on Expedition Lost. I love this map, and I'm glad, if I remember correctly, it will be sticking around for the upcoming season. So happy about that. I have randomed onto Zerg, so it's going to be a Zerg v Zerg, Z v Z. Not something you see often in my life in Silver League, so glad to get this one out for you. Let's skip ahead to the good stuff here. So as you can see, Zerg, again, still not my strongest race, not by a long shot. But if you can believe it, faster than I picked up the very basics of Protoss, I seem to be picking up the very basics of Zerg slightly faster. Not quite sure why that is, but for some reason, something about the Zerg build order is starting to slowly click with me. It's not perfect, not by a long shot, but it's getting better than it has been before. You can see my first drone going out, getting hatchery before spawning pool. Meanwhile, Super 8 going the exact opposite direction, going spawning pool before hatchery. Going for the early lings, not a bad idea. If you know for sure you can get away with it, great to get that early pressure on your opponent. However, I'm going for the hatchery. Means I want that macro advantage. I want to make sure that I am pulling in as much macro as humanly possible. My worker count is already at 15 as compared to the actually 12 in total for Super 8, so he is actually behind in the overall work count, though he is rushing up to that Vespene gas for that metabolic boost, one would assume. Though he's only just got the workers on gas now, only banking it slowly. I assume this is for metabolic boost. What else would you put in there? Is getting the early defense in the form of Spinecrawler, defending himself against rushes. Not that he has much to worry about with me going into pure macro mode here. Now we see the extractor going down next to the spawning pool at just after the 3-minute mark. So again, this is a macro style build. It's focused on getting two bases saturated full of drones off the hop so I can spam out whatever happens as soon as possible. Meanwhile, back with Super 8, he does have his first queen on the way, about halfway done. He will get that nice little boost with the inject larvae out well before I do, and he is well defended here, but the problem is I have this nice advantage in macro. And while Super 8 is actually supply blocked himself here, sitting on 18, I've done a half-decent job keeping my supply block, pretty loose. Pretty loose. Sitting on 19, 28, now 21 now as I begin pushing up those drones, as well as queens being pushed out as well, using the minerals as fast as I get them to get queens at both bases, both for defense and for that all-important inject larvae and creep spread. There's the worker transfer. 8 drones heading off the line now. 7 plus the one that already exists for a grand total of 8. So there we go, split of 8 and 8. Nice, efficient mining. Gotta love it. First Evo Chamber is also been running here, which explains why I do still have a worker on gas. It also ostensibly is for that metabolic boost. Though considering that I am spending my money as fast as I can on things like lings, maybe not so much. Meanwhile, second Spinecrawler on the way here for Super 8 keeps that defense in the length and high, getting the second extractor up as well, really pushing gas heavily. Hatchery is now mutating into layer tech right off the hop, so this is a fast run up the tech tree for Super 8. And again, this is layer before second hatchery. So a very, very quick hop up the tech tree, looking perhaps to just beat me on pure tech alone is Super 8. I have supply block at 28 here, though I do have 3 overlords on the way because I got the cash to do so, why not? Meanwhile, Queen's in patrol mode, making sure everything is all hunky-dory here. And up top, more larvae popping out, those injects looking pretty darn good. The overlords have popped. There is money in the bank. Metabolic boost is about halfway done. 8 lings being popped out here, as well as 2 more drones, making sure the economy stays up where it needs to be. I have 2 burgers on gas here. I know I don't need full gas. I only need enough to get the Evo Chamber's level 1 weapons up and running. At that point, I can pull them off and focus on minerals. Of course, do I have? I noticed that in time. However, as we expected, Super 8 is going for that tech up. There is the Spire. He's got 2 overlords floating off in the corner here instead of doing any sort of scouting. Meanwhile, I've got overlords positioned all around the map here for the express purpose of making sure that everything stays visible. So with the third base now up and running here in the corner, we now have, and again, third base is, this is something new for me. Normally, I'd be focusing on getting, extra, just basically spamming units up, but I'm trying to be a little more macro-focused with my Zerg builds, and it seems to be working now. I'm still trying to figure out what the best use of gas is here. Am I getting it at the right time? Am I doing it too early? Well, we'll just wait and see what happens here. I do have the Evo Chamber now working on level 1 weapons, which is excellent. Now we see the Spinecrawler going in for my own defense to go with the lings and the queen, so I have my own pretty good defense here. Though again, with this rush to Spire Tech here by Super, with no lings on the field, even no lings whatsoever. Though we do see a proxy hatch going down here inside the main base, and now we see a drone moving down to that natural. to try and get the actual base up, and there it is. So third hatch in total. Second one able to actually mine. So interesting build here by Super 8, going with proxy hatch into, I assume this is going to be Muta Ling, maybe pure Muta, considering there's a heavy collection of Vespene. Actually wouldn't be surprised if this is indeed pure Muta off the back of 3 hatcheries. However, when you leave no defense whatsoever on the field, it means stuff like this happens. I send the Lings on a scouting run, and it pays off big time. The metabolically boosted Lings, they've always got the level weapons, and they have denied that expansion, which means the macro advantage is purely in my favor here. However, Lings can't attack Mutas. Mutas don't care about no Lings. And the first 6 Lings come down the field, never Super 8. They will be instantly met and surrounded. That is the end of that little offensive. And the armor supplies here, it is 20-8 on the armor supply, and Super 8 is supply block to boot here. His worker supply has actually surpassed mine, so despite the fact that I've been priding myself on this macro build here, he's oversaturated. That's why. Oh my goodness. Well, the Lings will immediately force the evac here. Which is even better. Now there are 0 mining drones here. The Lings will take down this spore crawler, because why not? So green Lings now, more Lings on the field. There's drones trying to split up, take down the drones at the same time. The crawlers are doing their job here and making sure that nothing further comes. The third spine crawler on the way as well to stop these Lings from having any sort of advantage. Oh, Lings, you tried valiantly, and you lost. Meanwhile, looks like he's actually giving up. He's throwing away Vespene here, throwing everybody onto minerals. Maybe not the best decision, considering he's now out of gas. Perhaps this is for a Ling play. It is indeed lots and lots of Lings. Oh, that's my base. That's my base. Now instead we see the hatchery going for Super 8. This is the reclamation of the natural. Meanwhile, my overlords, we have pretty good sight of this thing. Well, Super 8 has no idea. He's got an eye on the middle here, so he can keep an eye on this little trench on the high yield expansion. But no good spread of the overlords. Meanwhile, I got speed on my overlords, and I got a very healthy supply gap there. 60 out of 102. I got space to build, and with my own spire on the way, having seen my opponent is done, I've got the Baneling nest here with Striggle hooks on the way, as well as a Roach Warren, so I am doing half decent getting my tech going here. I do have Lair tech as well. I have gone up to spire, seeing my opponent with mutas. I know, okay. I need to match this. I need to match this as soon as possible. Got my third base more or less moving here as the overlords fan out and begin looking for any extra proxy bases here. Meanwhile, the mutas will scare off this overlord. Not that I'm overly concerned. I still have plenty of supply, so even losing 2 overlords, well, unfortunately, is not the end of the world. Super 8, however, is sitting on a very large amount of minerals. It's floating 1,200 minerals. Just not able to spit it out fast. If some extra queens might not be a bad idea here, both for defense and just to get those injected larvae going as fast as possible, and to build the creep spread. In a ZVZ, you'd think you'd want more creep spread off the back of this, but no. It's a pure, almost a 1 base play. Now, obviously, the second I'm running with proxy. So Super 8 keeping it very focused, very tight. Just the one ball of Muta holding court here in the bottom right corner of the map. Almost completely supply blocked, as we're getting more spine crawlers. Oh, that's me actually, spine crawlers. More spore crawlers, my apologies for Super 8. Predicting perhaps an air response, doing well to plan for that, but is still just now alleviating the oversaturation. Not necessarily by work transfer, but just by building a whole bunch of stuff. But, you know, that's still cool. That's one way to do it. So the ton of workers I'm running here and a fully functioning hive with nothing in it, that's a problem. Meanwhile, my overlords are actually falling quite quickly here. Super 8 has done a great job of hunting down my supply and taking it out. I am rather severely supply blocked, which is going to stop me, because I am working on corruptors for the anti-air. The Lings sure aren't going to be any help here. The Queens will be, though. And the Queens, there's an Overseer hanging out doing his thing. I do have some Muta. And the few Muta that I have combined with the Queen will do their job to try and whittle down these Muta. Poor Micro here, not bringing in the body of my Queen, though I do have my own Spore Crawlers up and running. And there's the Corruptor doing his thing with the Queens backing it up. All the Queens showing up, scaring off the Mutas. That's one thing I've learned. One thing that I've learned from being a Zerg, or being a newbie Zerg player, you can't go wrong with having Queens for your anti-air, anti-ground defense. They're there for a reason. Spread the creep, inject the larvae, and scare off those Mutaballs. Super 8, meanwhile, doing a great job of leaping ahead in the supply count with all those extra overloads. He is still treating them like a giant herd of cattle, giant floating bug cattle, sticking them off the corner of the map. Again, it would be wise to use those as scouts to have a look around the map, have more vision than just what he has. Because if we look at the vision here, I mean, Super 8 He's only just now, from that flyover, seen my base, and even just the corner of it, still has no active vision except here in the top left corner where an overseer. Just sort of chilling, hanging out, doing his thing. Nothing more than that. Meanwhile, level 1 air weapons have been just about completed. 8 more seconds. And along with the corruptors, which I am bringing here, I got my own. I can't really claim superiority. I have my own Overlord cattle farm. Start hanging out. Being big, giant, buggy space Zerg bug cattle. There we go. Now they're floating off. Now they're taking a look around the map, scouting as you do. Meanwhile, the Queen's doing their job. They got plenty of energy in the bank here for creep spread, for larvae. Good times all around. Meanwhile, corruptors and mutas on the way here. It's basically a full anti-air play with lings on the ground. Meanwhile, it's pure muta for Super 8. He's going purely with the muta play here. Look at this. It is 16 muta on the field, 47 drones. Now we see a much better worker split here. Though this is a very highly oversaturated base. A third base, even a fourth base would be a great idea here for Super 8. Spread these workers out, spend those minerals, and have a better chance of generating Vespene for that all-important muta supply. Good inject larvae, though, from the Queens, keeping all those larvae up and running. There we see, again, the Overlord cattle. Not necessarily good, but you can see here my Overlords are spreading out. We're checking expansions. This is a kind of an unfortunate little trio. They could not be separated. We tried. Couldn't happen. You know, the army is balled up in the center of the map here, waiting for reinforcements before moving in, though. I mean, this isn't that bad of an army. We got 5 corruptors here. We got, oh, here we go, and 5 more mutas and a small ball of lings on the ground here to go after everything else. The armies will meet up. Down will go the Overlord. There he goes. And now, what is being built as an anti-air army will have a fierce test on it. There are 3 more mutas joining the fight here. Army supply is very heavily in favor of me, though to be fair, a lot of that is in Ling, which is not very useful. Looking for that angle to draw some of the army out, and there it is, those mutas evaporating. But now we are in trouble here. There's the surround on the Queen, so she'll fall. The drones are now in trouble, and now we get to see the lack of any micro whatsoever. And at some point, I will realize that there is a corruption, which would be, there we go, there's that corruption. There's that corruption. Little bit late on the corruption, oh corruptors. Again, I'm not used to using this unit at all. I know it's an anti-air unit, but I don't know much more than that. There's a screen here from the Overlords, and it will actually be fairly close here. The muta's actually having trouble here. These targets air. 4 mutas will survive, and they will fly off. The problem is, while they've been doing that, the lings have been going to town. The drones are dead. These eggs are about to hatch in a whole bunch of units. There are Roach, that's a good play here, Roach and Ling. Look at the tech switcher from Super 8 getting the Roaches in to take down the Lings fairly easily. The hatchery and the Roach Warren will stay alive, but the reinforcement Lings, they will do nothing. Trying to get Banelings out of this, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Some mutas actually now shook them, and now here's a problem here. The reinforcement Corruptor muta have taken down the Air Sword, and suddenly Super 8's in trouble here, because Roaches, they can do absolutely nothing against muta. And having gone on my own little air play here, these Roaches are going to... they're going to slowly draw off the 01 mutas. Meanwhile, I got my 4th base working here. Spending that money. Actually, I'm floating a metric whack ton of money here. Not very good with my inject larvae. More larvae injects me equals more units, which equals less of a float. Though, hey, my creep spread's not too bad. Got my area of the map fairly well covered. Not too shabby. However, the main problem here is these Roaches are being chased down, and they are going into a very bad card count. They will go after this Queen, which will not be a good idea, because now they die. Meanwhile, back at the natural, Spore Crawler is going down now, which is not a bad idea. If you want to stop pure muta, you get the anti-air, and oh, they are waddling over the high ground. Oh, you charming little Spore Crawlers are the best. You're the best, I tell you. And this actually is not a bad idea here for Super 8. He will take down a few mutas for his trouble. The Crawlers will actually do very well to clean up those mutas. Problem is, though, there are Lings, and this muta, before the micro will die. But the Lings will take care of that Crawler, and now the anti-air can take care of. The Overlords will again fly out. They'll attempt to body block. One assumes it's not working, and there is the GG from Super 8. The ZVZ ends. Zerg winning. I got my own Roaches now. I saw the Roaches from Super 8, sent out my own Roaches, figuring, why not? Ultimately, it didn't matter. And Super 8 realized he had not done enough. And a rare win for my Zerg, as the season winds down. So I can say what I learned from this is, again, floating a ton of minerals not good. Better on the injects with my queens would help out so much. So much. If I had my injects rocking and rolling, you can see all these larvae sitting around. Should be a ton more. Other than that, I mean, did pretty good reading my opponent. Got the corruptors out. Oh, that's the other thing I definitely learned from this. I learned, when you have corruptors, you better darn well use that corruption, or else why the heck are you building corruptors? Lesson learned. Just a little slice of my life in Silver-ish League. My name is Rituro. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. If you like what you've seen, please be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Tell all your friends about the videos being hosted on YouTube. And if you like watching on YouTube, be sure to check out twitch.tv/Rituro, where I record all of these episodes live. Come on and join us. It's fun. Anyway, my name is Rituro. This is my life in Silver League-ish. Thanks for watching, everyone. See you next time.